Have you ever met someone from Malaysia and someone from Singapore and thought, wait a minute, they sound almost the same, act kind of similar, but something just feels different? You're not alone. These two neighbors share a long history, a border, and even similar food. But if you look a little closer, you'll see two very distinct personalities. So today, let's dive into the fascinating world of Malaysians and Singaporeans, how they think, speak, work, eat, and live, and discover what truly sets them apart beyond the shared accents and delicious laksa. Grab a cup of tea. This one's going to be fun. One, a shared past, but two very different journeys. When Singapore separated from Malaysia in 1965, it wasn't just a political split, it was an emotional one. Both nations shared deep historical, cultural, and familial ties, yet they were suddenly forced to define themselves independently. Malaysia, with its vast land and natural wealth, focused on building its strength through agriculture, palm oil exports, and manufacturing, relying on its diversity of states and cultures to drive growth. Singapore, however, had no such advantage. No natural resources, limited space, and a pressing need to survive. Under visionary leadership, it transformed itself into a global hub for trade, finance, and technology, emphasizing discipline, education, and long-term planning. While Malaysia grew with a community-first warmth, Singapore grew with precision and ambition, turning challenges into structure. One embraced its cultural abundance and relaxed charm, while the other pursued perfection through efficiency. Decades later, these choices shaped their identities. Malaysia, the soulful heart of Southeast Asia. Singapore, the disciplined mind. Two nations, once united by geography, now stand apart by philosophy. Yet when you look closely, you can still feel the echo of a shared beginning in their spirit, their laughter, and even in the way they say, la. Two, the pace of life, laid back versus lightning fast. Spend a few days in Kuala Lumpur and then fly over to Singapore, and you'll immediately sense the contrast. In Malaysia, life flows with the rhythm of the tropics, unhurried, social, and rich in human connection. Morning markets buzz with easy laughter, people linger over kopi at roadside stalls, and no one seems too rushed to pause for conversation. There's an unspoken understanding that life isn't a race, it's something to be savored. Cross the causeway into Singapore and suddenly everything feels like it's on fast forward. Trains arrive the second they're supposed to, office towers hum with purpose, and even pedestrians walk with intent. Time is treated like a precious currency, to be optimized, not wasted. It's a city built on precision, where efficiency is woven into the culture. Malaysia's charm lies in its ease and warmth, a sense that life will sort itself out. Singapore's pride lies in its discipline and drive, proof that success is built on structure. One dances to the rhythm of the moment, the other marches to the beat of progress. Yet together they show two sides of Southeast Asia's spirit, the relaxed heart and the relentless mind. 3. Communication style. Same language, different tune. Language is where you truly hear the personalities of both nations come alive. In Malaysia, Manglish feels like a warm hug, casual, musical, and sprinkled with humor. It's a blend of Malay, English, Chinese dialects, and Tamil, shaped by centuries of multicultural mingling. Malaysians use it not just to communicate, but to connect. Conversations often carry laughter, pauses, and expressions of empathy. Even a simple, "You okay, ah?" feels like genuine concern. In Singapore, Singlish is sharp, efficient, and wonderfully expressive. It mirrors the nation's rhythm, fast, precise, and direct. Built from the same linguistic roots, it combines English, Hokkien, Malay, and Tamil, but with a punchier tone. Singaporeans use it to move things forward quickly. No small talk, just clarity. Can or not says in 3 words what might take a sentence elsewhere. Both Manglish and Singlish are cultural treasures, often misunderstood, but deeply loved. One sounds like a friendly conversation over Tetrik, the other like a rapid-fire chat during a lunch break. Yet both reveal something beautiful. That language, no matter how mixed or modern, reflects the heart of the people who speak it. 4. Attitude toward rules. Can try law versus better not law. The difference in how Malaysians and Singaporeans view rules says a lot about their national personalities. In Singapore, order is a way of life. From spotless streets to perfectly timed public transport, every detail is designed to work flawlessly. This didn't happen by chance. It's the result of decades of discipline, strict laws, and a shared belief that structure brings success. Singaporeans grow up knowing that following rules keeps the city safe, efficient, and respected worldwide. Even small things like not jaywalking or chewing gum are taken seriously because they reflect civic pride. In Malaysia, however, life is guided more by flexibility than formality. Rules matter, but people often approach them with a practical mindset, one that bends when life demands it. The famous can try la spirit captures this perfectly, an easygoing attitude that values creativity over conformity. It's less about defiance and more about finding a way around obstacles with charm and humor. Singapore's rulebook builds perfection. Malaysia's adaptability builds resilience. One thrives on discipline, the other on understanding. And perhaps that's why, while Singapore dazzles with precision, Malaysia charms with personality. Two different routes to harmony, both equally admirable. 5. Food, a shared love, slightly different taste. If there's one thing Malaysians and Singaporeans will never agree on, it's who makes the best food. Their cuisines share the same DNA, shaped by Malay, Chinese, and Indian influences. Yet each nation added its own twist. In Malaysia, food bursts with bold flavors and fiery spices. Think nasi lemak wrapped in banana leaves, rich rendang, or smoky char kway teow cooked over high flames at a roadside stall. Meals here are communal, messy, and joyful, the kind of food that warms both stomach and soul. In Singapore, the same dishes take on a polished city touch. Hawker centers serve food that's standardized, cleaner, and visually neater. The focus is on consistency and balance, flavor without chaos. Singapore's food culture reflects its precision, every recipe fine-tuned for taste and hygiene. Yet, both nations treat food as identity. In Malaysia, a meal is a love language. In Singapore, it's a national sport. Whether it's arguing over who invented Hainanese chicken rice or hunting for the best laksa, their shared passion for eating is proof that food isn't just sustenance here. It's pride, memory, and home served on a plate. 6. Work culture, relationship versus result. Walk into a Malaysian office and you'll likely be greeted with a smile, a cup of coffee, and a bit of friendly small talk before business begins. In Malaysia, the workplace is an extension of community life, where relationships, mutual respect, and personal bonds come first. Colleagues often see each other as extended family, and managers take time to connect beyond work. It's common to discuss family, food, or the latest weekend plans before talking about deadlines. This emphasis on human connection creates a warm, cooperative environment where teamwork flows naturally. Cross over to Singapore, and the energy shifts. Work is fast-paced, laser-focused, and driven by clear objectives. Meetings start on time and end with actionable steps. Singaporeans take pride in their efficiency and discipline, valuing measurable results and accountability. Success is tied to precision and performance, not personality. Malaysia's work culture thrives on trust and relationships, where harmony keeps the team united. Singapore's thrives on structure and excellence, where results keep the system strong. One builds loyalty, the other builds legacy, and together they reflect Southeast Asia's balance between the heart and the hustle. 7. Education and mindset. The pressure gap. In Singapore, education isn't just a phase, it's almost a national mission. From the moment children enter primary school, they're taught that excellence is the key to opportunity. The system is structured, rigorous, and highly competitive. Students face milestone exams like the PSLE and O-levels, which can shape their academic and even career paths. Extra tuition, enrichment classes, and long study hours are common, reflecting the deep cultural belief that success is earned through discipline and precision. This mindset produces some of the world's most capable professionals, sharp, analytical, and achievement-driven. In Malaysia, the approach feels gentler. Education is respected, but there's more room for individuality and creativity. Students are encouraged to balance studies with social and family life, and schools often emphasize moral values and cultural understanding alongside academics. The pressure is present, but not suffocating. As a result, Singapore nurtures excellence through structure, while Malaysia nurtures ingenuity through freedom. Singaporeans grow into highly organized, goal-oriented individuals, while Malaysians often display adaptability and emotional intelligence. One system polishes diamonds, the other cultivates wildflowers, both beautiful, each thriving in its own way. 8. Cost of living, comfort versus convenience. The cost of living draws one of the clearest lines between these neighbors. In Singapore, daily life comes with a price tag. Housing costs are among the highest in Asia. Dining out can be pricey, and even a cup of kopi costs more than across the border. Yet Singaporeans know what they're paying for. Pristine streets, reliable public transport, low crime rates, and one of the most efficient healthcare and education systems in the world. Every dollar spent buys convenience, predictability, and peace of mind. In Malaysia, life stretches further on the same income. Spacious homes, affordable local food, and lower transportation costs make everyday living more comfortable and less stressful. People can enjoy a balanced lifestyle without the constant financial strain. However, public infrastructure and systems, while improving, may not match Singapore's precision or speed. Singapore trades space for structure, a compact city built on perfection. Malaysia trades speed for serenity, a land where life breathes easier. One thrives on convenience, the other celebrates comfort. And when Singaporeans cross over to Johor for weekend shopping, or Malaysians visit Orchard Road for city thrills, they remind each other that both versions of the good life are valid, just lived differently. 9. National identity. We're different, but we're proud. National pride shines differently in Malaysia and Singapore, but both glow with the same intensity. In Singapore, identity is built around achievement, a small island that rose from poverty to become one of the world's safest, richest, and most organized nations. For Singaporeans, pride comes from collective discipline, spotless streets, honest governance, and the idea that every success was earned through hard work and unity. They see their country as proof that size doesn't limit greatness. Efficiency and vision do. In Malaysia, pride runs deeper in the heart than in statistics. It's the pride of diversity, of people from Malay, Chinese, Indian, and countless indigenous backgrounds living, eating, and celebrating together. Despite differences, Malaysians share a unique bond through food, festivals, and laughter. Their strength lies in tolerance, a kind of harmony that feels natural rather than forced. Singapore's pride is polished, built on precision and progress. Malaysia's pride is soulful, built on culture and connection. One shines like a diamond, the other glows like a campfire. Both tell the same story. No matter how different their journeys, they've each built something extraordinary, and they wear that pride with quiet confidence. 10. Humor and spirit, the laughing neighbor versus the serious cousin. If humor reveals a nation's soul, then Malaysia and Singapore couldn't express theirs more differently. In Malaysia, laughter fills the air like background music. Taxi drivers crack jokes with strangers, aunties laugh over long lunches, and even in traffic jams, someone always finds a reason to smile. Malaysians possess a rare ability to stay lighthearted, even when life gets tough. Their humor is spontaneous, colorful, and full of everyday honesty. It's how they cope, connect, and celebrate life's imperfections. In Singapore, humor takes a quieter form. It's sharp, clever, and often laced with irony. Singaporeans might not burst into laughter as loudly, but when they do, it's usually over something smart or observational. A witty meme, a clever pun, or a playful jab at their own efficiency. Their humor reflects their mindset, thoughtful, calculated, and understated. "Never mind lah," says the Malaysian, rolling with life's punches. "Cannot lah," replies the Singaporean, determined to fix the problem. Together they form the perfect yin and yang, one reminding the other to slow down and laugh, the other reminding that laughter's fine, as long as the job's still done. 11. Religion and culture, deep roots versus global blend. Religion and culture form the quiet backbone of both nations. shaping how people live, celebrate, and connect. In Malaysia, faith is deeply woven into the national identity. As a Muslim-majority country, Islam influences everything from public holidays like Hari Raya to the rhythm of daily life. The call to prayer, halal food culture, and the modest values reflected in society. Yet Malaysia is also proudly multicultural, celebrating festivals like Deepavali, Chinese New Year, and Christmas, where communities join in each other's joy. Religion here is both a spiritual compass and a social glue, reminding people of shared respect and coexistence. In Singapore, the approach is more secular but equally harmonious. The government emphasizes unity beyond faith, creating a society where temples, mosques, churches, and synagogues often stand within walking distance. Singaporeans celebrate diversity not through religious dominance, but through mutual respect and civic order. Everyone is free to believe, as long as peace and progress come first. Malaysia moves to the rhythm of devotion, heartfelt and rooted in tradition. Singapore flows to the rhythm of balance, modern, inclusive, and pragmatic. Both paths, though different, lead to the same destination, a nation that values harmony over division. 12. The urban experience, KL's charm versus SG's perfection. Spend a day wandering through Kuala Lumpur, KL, and you'll quickly sense its pulse, energetic, unpredictable, and alive with character. The city is a fascinating blend of old and new. Gleaming skyscrapers like the Petronas Twin Towers rise above bustling street markets. Heritage shophouses and roadside food stalls sizzling with satay. KL's rhythm is spontaneous. Traffic can be wild, streets may twist unexpectedly, but every corner tells a story. Its charm lies in imperfection. It's a place where tradition and modernity dance without choreography. You feel the people's warmth, their laughter, and the easy flow of daily life that keeps the city vibrant and human. Then you cross over to Singapore, and it feels like stepping into the future. Every street is spotless, every building thoughtfully designed, and every system perfectly timed. The skyline glows with precision, from Marina Bay Sands to the futuristic gardens by the bay. Efficiency isn't just policy here, it's culture. The trains glide smoothly, greenery softens glass towers, and order brings calm. KL charms you with its chaos. Singapore impresses you with its control. One thrives on soul, the other on structure. Two cities telling one story, that Southeast Asia can be both beautifully raw and beautifully refined. 13. How they see each other. The relationship between Malaysians and Singaporeans is the perfect mix of banter and brotherhood. They tease each other endlessly, but only because they care. When a Malaysian calls a Singaporean kiasu, afraid to lose, it's said with a smile. Malaysians see their southern neighbors as hyper-organized, disciplined, and maybe a little too serious at times. To them, Singaporeans live by the clock, always planning, always striving. Ask a Singaporean about Malaysians, though, and you'll hear affectionate amusement. They're so chill, can take things easy even in a jam. To Singaporeans, Malaysians embody warmth, spontaneity, and that enviable, never mind la attitude that makes life look so relaxed. Yet behind the jokes lies a deep mutual respect. Singaporeans admire Malaysia's rich culture, open-hearted people, and boundless land. Malaysians admire Singapore's vision, efficiency, and global standing. When they cross the border, whether for food, shopping, or work, they don't just see differences, they see reflections. They argue, laugh, and poke fun like siblings who know each other too well. But when outsiders misunderstand or criticize one, the other often steps up to defend them. Because family may squabble, but they always stand together. 14. Everyday life. The feel of the streets. Everyday life in Malaysia feels like a comforting embrace, a rhythm guided by people, not systems. In suburban neighborhoods, it's common to see kids playing outside, uncles chatting by roadside stalls, and the aroma of nasi lemak or roti canai drifting through the air. Strangers greet you with a smile, and small talk flows easily. There's a sense of community that feels organic and unhurried. Everyone seems to know someone, and life unfolds at a human pace. Even in the cities, the warmth of daily life softens the chaos, reminding you that connection matters more than perfection. In Singapore, daily life hums with quiet precision. Streets are spotless, buildings rise in perfect symmetry, and even public housing estates feel thoughtfully designed. You won't find much noise, but you'll sense harmony, an unspoken respect for space and order. The convenience of modern life is unmatched. Trains arrive on time, parks are lush, and neighborhoods feel safe at any hour. Malaysia moves to the heartbeat of community, Singapore to the rhythm of consistency. One glows with nostalgia, the other with innovation. Yet both remind you, in their own way, that happiness isn't about chaos or control, but about belonging where you feel understood. 15. The generational view, old versus new. For the older generation, the bond between Malaysia and Singapore isn't just history, it's personal. They remember when crossing the causeway didn't feel like crossing a border. They recall listening to the same radio shows, celebrating the same festivals, and singing the same national songs before the split in 1965. To them, both nations still share a single heartbeat, one that beats with nostalgia for simpler days, neighborly trust, and unspoken kinship. But for the younger generation, the story feels different. They grew up in two distinct worlds, one shaped by open landscapes and easy smiles, the other by skyscrapers and structured ambition. To young Malaysians, Singapore feels like the overachieving cousin, polished, efficient, and a little too serious. To young Singaporeans, Malaysia is the friendly neighbor with charm, food, and space to breathe. Yet underneath the modern separation, there's a quiet thread of recognition. Both sides know they carry the same Southeast Asian spirit, resilient, adaptable, and endlessly diverse. Whether it's in their laughter, their laws, or their shared love for good food, the bond between old and new generations remains. Less spoken, perhaps, but still deeply felt. 16. Global reputation, soft power versus smart power. On the global stage, Singapore and Malaysia shine in entirely different ways, like two stars in the same constellation. Singapore represents what the world calls smart power, a nation that built global respect through precision, planning, and progress. It's admired for its spotless streets, strong governance, and role as a global financial and technology hub. From international investors to global conferences, Singapore stands as the ultimate example of how discipline and vision can transform a tiny island into a world-class powerhouse. Its image is sleek, futuristic, and dependable, the go-to symbol of Asian efficiency. Malaysia, meanwhile, radiates soft power, the kind that touches hearts, not just headlines. It draws people through its warmth, color, and authenticity. Travelers fall in love with its food, festivals, and friendly locals. It's a place where diversity doesn't just exist, it thrives. Malaysia's charm lies in its ability to make anyone feel at home, to welcome, not impress. Singapore wins admiration, Malaysia wins affection. One conquers the boardroom, the other fills the memory book. And together they tell the world that Southeast Asia's strength isn't just in its progress, but in its balance between ambition and soul. 17. What they can learn from each other. Every relationship thrives on balance, and the dynamic between Malaysia and Singapore is no different. Each holds qualities the other quietly admires. Malaysia, with its abundance of land, culture, and heart, sometimes moves at a rhythm that values people more than pace. Yet if it could borrow a touch of Singapore's discipline, long-term vision, and governance, its potential could soar even higher. Singapore's success lies in its ability to plan decades ahead, to turn foresight into policy and efficiency into identity. On the other hand, Singapore could take a page from Malaysia's playbook, the human warmth, spontaneity, and community spirit that bring color to everyday life. Malaysians remind the world that success isn't just measured in GDP, but in laughter, shared meals, and the ability to pause. If these two philosophies ever met halfway, Malaysia's heart with Singapore's head, they'd create something extraordinary, a society that moves with purpose but never forgets its people. In a way, their friendly rivalry already does that, pushing each other to grow, reflect, and evolve. They're not just neighbors, they're mirrors showing each other what balance could truly look like. 18. Deep down, more alike than they think. Deep down, Malaysians and Singaporeans are cut from the same cloth, stitched together by history, culture, and an unmistakable Southeast Asian charm. They may live under different flags, but their daily lives echo one another. Both wake up to the smell of kaya toast and kopi, navigate humid mornings with a smile, and unwind over the same comfort foods, nasi lemak, char kway teow, roti prata. Their sense of humor, too, is identical. Witty, teasing, and never complete without a la or le. Across the causeway, the movement never stops. Malaysians work in Singapore for better opportunities. Singaporeans cross into Johor for weekend shopping, food, and family visits. Many have relatives on both sides, making the border feel more symbolic than real. Weddings, holidays, and WhatsApp chats effortlessly bridge the gap. They might debate whose durian is better or who invented laksa first, but when the world looks their way, both stand proud of each other's success. Because beneath the jokes, competition, and cultural quirks lies something far deeper. The same warm heart, the same fighting spirit, and the same love for life that defines Southeast Asia itself. 19. Who's better? So who's better, Malaysia or Singapore? It's the question that sparks endless debates over dinner tables and online forums. But the honest answer is, there's no winner here. These two countries represent opposite sides of the same coin, and that's exactly what makes them special. Singapore is the perfectionist, every detail polished, every plan calculated. It's a nation that built success through sheer willpower and structure, turning limitations into leadership. Singapore shows the world what's possible when focus meets foresight. Malaysia, on the other hand, is the artist. Expressive, soulful, and endlessly diverse. Its beauty lies in its imperfections, the street chatter, the spontaneous laughter, the kaleidoscope of flavors and cultures blending without force. Malaysia teaches the world that progress can have heart and tradition can live alongside change. Trying to decide who's better is like comparing melody to rhythm. One gives form, the other gives feeling. Singapore builds the masterpiece. Malaysia paints it with color. And when you step back, you realize the picture isn't complete without both. A story of two nations, perfectly different, yet perfectly intertwined. Conclusion. At the end of it all, Malaysia and Singapore aren't rivals. They're reflections of each other's journey. Their differences don't divide them, they define them. One took the path of precision, turning limited land into limitless potential. The other embraced its abundance, weaving cultures, colors, and traditions into a living masterpiece. Singapore stands as a global city that never sleeps, its lights symbolizing ambition and progress. Malaysia shines as a cultural soul that never fades, where heritage, flavor, and laughter fill the air. And when the two meet, whether through food, friendship, or friendly teasing, something truly heartwarming happens. Beneath every la, Leah, and May is the same shared pulse, the same Southeast Asian warmth that unites them. Because deep down, it's not about borders, it's about belonging. And both belong to the same story, a story of resilience, humor, and heart. So what about you? Have you seen these differences firsthand? Or do you feel Malaysians and Singaporeans are more alike than they realize? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your take. And if you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Because more fascinating stories about culture, connection, and the beauty of diversity are coming your way. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and remember, sometimes the smallest borders hold the biggest stories.